You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
The Chiefs remain unbeaten in Super Rugby Pacific, fending off the Blues 20-13 in the Battle of the Bombays last night in Hamilton.
McKenzie, wide ball, right out to the massive 11 and Nino Saturu, looking to run his outside and Nawada scores! Clark's knocked it on, Caleb Clark's knocked it on, it's over, the Chiefs are held on and won, 20 points to 13, can't believe it! How did they hang on?
I love it. Good on you, Minty. Graham Mead on the mic last night on Gold Sport and iHeartRadio. Chiefs winning it 20-13, 6 straight wins to start the season. That is a franchise record. Chiefs assistant coach David Hill is with us out of Hamilton. No doubt a relaxing morning for you, David, but with the benefit of the overnight test and some reflection after that win, where does the performance sit in the context of your season?
It's probably a different way to win, that's for sure. I think most teams that go through a season have a good run. They probably have a couple of games in the middle there or at the end there where things don't go quite as planned, but you still come out and manage to have the victory. So we're probably a bit more of a high-scoring, free-flowing team, but yesterday we had to find another way to win, so that's probably the most pleasing aspect.
So when you reflect back, is it the defensive effort that stands out the most for you?
Yeah, probably that. And then we probably didn't exit or get out of our own half very well at all during the whole game. So we'd been attacking from our own half a fair bit, and our kick shot had been really good. It was the day that didn't quite work out, but that's okay. We just had to knuckle down on D, and as you said, the defensive effort was outstanding. Just the desperation, you could see in that last goal line stand how much holding them out meant to our team. They beat us up last year at home, so. Feeling motivated to right the wrong there, and that last stand was a good sort of example of how tight a unit we've got.
Yeah, I bet. When you talk about the exit play out of your own half, were conditions a factor last night? It looked a bit wet there for large periods?
Yeah, it was, but nothing. There was a little bit of structural stuff and a little bit of communication stuff. It was one of those days we couldn't quite, I think we must have blown 3 of our own restarts, so it was score a try or kick a penalty, and then the next play wasn't as accurate as we wanted to. Conditions weren't great, but it wasn't. That was probably a small factor. It was probably our own execution that let us down. And then on the back of that, we started conceding a few too many penalties, and we just ended up spending a good period of time. I think it was half the game was in our own 22 type of thing. So a few things to tidy up, but nothing too serious. Yeah,
and when you are camped in your own half like that, as you were for long periods, as you say, what are you specifically looking for your team to do? What are you sort of sending down in terms of messaging?
Yeah, well, it's normally the message. The first couple of messages are around what we can do better to get out of that area, and then the next ones are really just around our discipline and our ability just to stick to our system. So when we're on defence, we don't need to chase the snake or do anything out of our system to try and right a wrong. So just a bit of patience and discipline. Again, we gave away a couple of too many penalties around the ruck. So once we tidied that up, felt like defensively we were in good shape. So it's a bit of both. Messages around exiting properly, and then the other messaging is just around discipline and some composure, which we managed to do into the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Are you able, David, to look back on the 6 games as a whole for us? The first 6 games of the season, 6 wins. I mean, the results have been terrific. The performances have been excellent. What are you particularly pleased about as a coaching group?
We feel like we've prepared the majority of our squad really well. I think our depth and we've made some selection, not rotation, but we've had to leave a few All Blacks out here and there, and we've rested a couple of our players that we think thought were sort of on the edge of breaking. So one of the pleasing things for us is probably the 6 games, 2 pre-season games, and a sort of a 4 weeks of pre-season. We've been going at it for a fair while now, probably close to 3 months. And the majority of our squad, we would trust to start a game and play in. So I think that's probably one of the pleasing things. If you're looking at other teams who have had injuries, and we're more than likely to get some injuries coming up, we feel like the depth that we've created and the training environments that we've created have put us in a good place. Then obviously the first couple of games when the weather's good and we've got the ability to play, that we've actually expanded our game a little bit in our own half when the weather and the conditions suit. So probably those two things.
When you've had to plot out the All Blacks rotation and rest weeks and that sort of thing, has it gone, when you did the plan at the start of the season, has it gone to plan? Has it worked out okay in the first 6 weeks?
I'd say majority of it has gone to plan. Yep. We're fortunate that someone like Samasoni, who didn't play a lot of All Black minutes and needs to play, he's one of those guys that was allowed to play 6 games. We put him on the bench for 2 of them, which meant we could start our other 2 hookers. So again, just for an example of trusting our squad and not relying on one particular player. And then the others, Brody and Sam are the 2 obvious ones. So we don't have a lot of them. And when by the time Anton got injured, we don't have to worry about him rotating him in as well. So we're probably fortunate that we've got good depth at lock. So Tupavai would be the other one here. He was allowed to play 6 straight, but we don't actually feel like we need to play him 6 straight all the time. So comfortable that the Clayton and our crew have done a great job planning it, and it's working out okay.
Sean Stevenson's getting a little raps, isn't he, over the first part of the season? But can you give us some insight into what you're seeing from Emoni Narawa?
Yeah, well, probably the 2 of them are similar in lots of ways. That the stuff you see on attack, if they work hard, they get the benefits. So Emoni as well, we've decided to play him majority on the wing, and not. So last year we chopped and changed a little bit with our wingers and our fullbacks. So a good change for Emoni's just been he's our right winger, and when he's fit and available and in form, it's the jersey's his, and the same applies to Sean Stevenson. So they have a good understanding that if they play well and work hard, that they'll get the rewards, both from a selection point of view and also like their performances on attack it's pretty obvious to see. But the biggest sort of mindset shift for those 2 has been around probably the defensive side of the ball and some physicality. So the stuff that's probably not seen as much in the highlight reels, but a good amount of work has gone into them, and Anthony Naisatoro as well. Those 3 really crucial for us on defence. And so again, when they're putting in the work on defence, they're actually sort of capping off a lot of our hard work done up front that they can finish off defensively on the edges. So all 3 of them going great. Probably all 3 of them deserving a little break and a week off this week. Yeah,
I bet a lot of guys. I know Emoni was born in Fiji, but could he be in the All Blacks frame?
Oh yeah, I would think so. Like there's Mark Talia has obviously been awesome for the Blues. Sevu Reece obviously out now. That's just disappointing for him and Will Jordan as well. So if you think of the All Black wingers last year were Sevu and Will Jordan, and they're not on the grass at the moment, then Talia, Emoni, Sean Stevenson, there's a few out there that we're 6 games in, but hopefully by another sort of 8 to 10 games, if they carry on that form, then they might be right up there.
Yeah.
So no dramas with either of those 2 sort of having a crack at that, but a long way to go.
There's a lot of guys in your team putting themselves in the frame. Some are already firmly in the frame. You've mentioned a couple, but is that something that gets discussed internally, David? The aspiration to be an All Black, and the fact that if you play well for the Chiefs, that really comes into sharp focus.
Yeah, I think again Clayton does a great job at the start of the year around if our team performs well and we win and are putting out performances that we're proud of, then the accolades will come. And so we're very much a team first, focus, especially coaching group. It is all about the team, but no need to be a rocket scientist. If we play well and those guys are playing regularly, then wins will help them. But again, probably knowing historically World Cup years, if your teams are in the finals and in and around the finals, that's probably as close to what the selectors look for in Test match footy. So half a job done, or maybe even a quarter of a job done so far. We'd like to get to the end of the year and be in the finals and have all those guys playing well. Then it's probably easier for them to state their case. So yeah, but to answer your question, probably not a lot, or if any, discussion around individual guys getting All Black selections. Probably more the focus on if the team plays well, then they'll reap the benefits.
Indeed. And you got the bye now over Easter. Your next game isn't until Saturday the 15th against the Hurricanes. So how do you spend the next fortnight? Do the guys and yourselves get a bit of time off?
Yeah, we're in need of a bit of time off. So it's a good amount of good little wrap up last night, and then a good amount of family time for this week. So majority of guys will be we'll be heading away. Don't know where they're going, to be fair, but as long as they're back by next Sunday, then all is well. There'll be a few guys that'll play club footy and carry on training in their sort of return to play or whatnot. But we'll be heading away. So I hope to get to the beach for a couple of days over Easter, eat a few chockies, and then back into it next Sunday.
Love it. Hey, great stuff, David. Congratulations on a terrific start for the Chiefs in 2023. Appreciate your time the day after the game, and look forward to seeing how you wash up when the Hurricanes come into focus in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.